All right, everyone, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about function expressions, function declarations, and arrow functions. I'm going to be talking about some of the differences between these, the pros and cons of each. I'm hoping that by the time you guys leave this video, you will have a better understanding of each of these and when and why to use certain ones over the other ones. All right, and I just want to say really quick, if you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and do so now, because you're not going to want to miss any of the future tutorials that I come out with. All right, let's go ahead and begin. So I'm going to go ahead and want to start off with function declarations. Now, function declarations are the classic way to define a function in JavaScript. To declare a function in this way, you simply use the function keyword followed by the name of the function, some parentheses, and the code block. Now here you see a function that I've called squareNum, which simply accepts a number and then returns that number times itself, essentially squaring the number. Function declarations are hoisted along with their definitions. So in other words, if I try to use this function before I've actually written it in code, it will actually still work. Keep that in mind for a little bit later. So function declarations are best utilized when you need to use a function that will be available on the global scope. And defining functions in this way forgoes some of the benefits of defining functions in other ways that we will be talking about in just a second. All right, so let's talk about function expressions. Function expressions are different than function declarations in a few key ways. The first way that I want to talk about is how they're written, so the syntax itself. So let's have a look at this squareNum function that we wrote just a second ago using function declarations. Let's actually transform this into a function expression. Now all you have to do this is remove that function keyword. I'm going to use const, but you can use let or var, and set it equal to, and then you can use the function keyword here, and then the rest stays the same. Notice that we are essentially assigning a function to a variable on the fly using const. Now again, we can use let or var, but here I'm just using const. Due to the nature of function expressions essentially being functions as values, we don't have to assign them to variables in order to pass them to other functions. For example, if we wanted to pass a function to another function using function declarations, we'd have to declare the function and pass the name in. Let me show you an example of what I mean. This function right here accepts a function, so it takes a function as an argument, and then it just simply times the function. It tells us how long the function takes to run. So I'm creating a function here called looper, which literally just runs through a for loop 100,000 times. It doesn't do anything, it just runs through a for loop. And we're just going to use time function and we're going to pass looper into it so we can see how long it takes looper to run. Now we're using function declarations here, but with function expressions, this process is much more simple. You see, we can take out the code block itself for the looper function and just pass it in directly to time function using the function keyword before it, and we're basically passing it in on the fly. As you can see, this is much more convenient. If we are not planning to use the function anywhere else, there's no reason for us to necessarily have to store it inside of a variable. So it allows us to be way more concise. Lastly, I wanted to quickly mention another key difference between function expressions and declarations. Function expressions are hoisted without their definitions in the same way that standard variable bindings are. In other words, if you attempt to use the function before it is defined, you will get a reference error like you can see right here. Next up, we're going to talk about IIFEs, or immediately invoked function expressions, which is actually another quirk of function expressions. So if you take a moment to think about the term immediately invoked function expression, you may actually be able to understand the concept before I even explain it to you. So it's exactly what the name implies. You are able to define a function expression and then invoke it immediately. Let's have a look at an example using our squareNum function. What we can do is we can actually wrap the function inside of parentheses and then afterwards immediately invoke it with a set of parentheses and pass in the argument. In our case right here, we're going to pass in 2, and we're going to set it equal to a variable called 2 squared. Now we're going to go ahead and log 2 squared, and look what happens. You can see that 2 squared is actually 4. It's not the function itself, it's actually the value that the function returns. Now you may be wondering, why in the world would I do this when all I really have to do is this? I can just say const 2 squared equals 2 times 2. Why would I go through the hardship of creating a function and then immediately invoking it and calling it 2 squared? And in this case, yes, that is true. But let me tell you about some benefits of why you would use IIFEs. What are the reasons to use IIFEs? There's 2 that I'm going to be talking about in this video. The first one is encapsulation. So remember that a function's scope is not accessible from outside of itself. This means that you could write an entire code module inside of an IIFE and it will have its own scope that cannot be accessed by any other code modules. Let me show you an example using a basic calculator. Now what I'm doing is I'm creating a variable called calculator and setting it equal to an IIFE. So if I say calc.add, what that is essentially doing is accessing the add function of this calculator. Now, writing the code this way prevents us from using the function add directly. This is extremely beneficial if you are dealing with many scripts within the same program or web page, because there may be another JavaScript file that has a function called add, and this prevents these names from conflicting. Frameworks and libraries such as React and Angular use IIFEs under the hood everywhere for this reason. Now, another benefit is function factories. Now, let's say you need to assign a value to a variable that takes several lines to compute. And my favorite example for this is the Fibonacci sequence. Let's say you want to get the 10th Fibonacci number. Now, to do this is going to probably take several lines of code. There are probably ways to do this without taking several lines of code, but it just wouldn't be as readable. So here we have several lines of code in order to calculate a single value. And this single value is the 10th Fibonacci number. But let's say you need to do this a lot with several different numbers. Well, we could write a function that creates a new IIFE and returns its value, like this. You see, this function fibFactory actually returns a IIFE with the number that you passed in. So now we can say 10th fib equals fibFactory 10, 15th fib equals fibFactory 15, 20th fib equals fibFactory 20, and when we log it, you can see that the values are accurate. This is extremely convenient. What this does is it allows you to lock down complex logic and use it on the fly in a very concise way. Okay, so now I want to talk about arrow functions. Now, arrow functions are basically just super concise function expressions, except there are some actual functional differences between the two. For instance, there is no argument binding, you cannot use the this keyword. There are actually quite a few small differences between the two, but for the most part, they're really just super concise function expressions. And to show you what I mean by this, I'm going to convert a function expression to an arrow function right in front of you. So here we have a function square num, which we've already seen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually get rid of the function keyword. And then before the opening curly bracket, I'm going to add an arrow using the equal sign and the arrow bracket. Now this is equal to the function that you just saw a second ago. When we run it, you can see it gives us the value that we would expect. This arrow function here uses arrow function syntax, and it was introduced in ES6 in 2015. Now you can actually remove even more than that to make it even more concise. Since it is a single line function, we can actually get rid of the curly braces entirely, and whenever we do this, the return becomes imperative. To take it a step further, you can actually remove the parentheses. If there is only one argument, you do not need the parentheses here. That's about as concise as you can get here. Now, if there are more than one argument, you're actually going to need to bring back the parentheses, as you can see here in this example. And if there are absolutely no arguments at all, you will actually need to use an empty set of parentheses like here. So as you can see, there are multiple ways that you can define functions in JavaScript, and depending on your use case, you may want to use one or the other. For example, if you are wanting a function to be available in the global scope, it may make sense for you to use a function declaration just because of the way that they're hoisted. Now, if you want to have access to the this keyword, you are not going to want to use arrow functions. So that means using arrow functions is a little bit less practical in class definitions. Function expressions and arrow functions are great because you can use them on the fly and you can pass them in directly to other functions, and they're just super concise and easy to write. Arrow functions are even more concise than plain function expressions and are overall just a much cleaner way to write the code. And again, there are more differences between arrow functions and function expressions, but they're a little bit out of the scope of this talk and need a little bit more of an in-depth discussion. So if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section if you have any questions, follow me on Twitter for updates, or if you want to reach out to me, Facebook, etc. And I will see you guys in the next video.